Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brothers Scan and Cut tips and tricks video, I'm going to show you how to cut out this Dinoroar paper. Dinoroar Suite is by Stampin Up, and this is designer series paper. And the reason this is a nice little tip for you is that anytime you have images that are separated like this into many different parts, you're going to be able to use my pencil trick to cut this out as one image. Okay, so I will go ahead and teach you how to do this from start to finish. This trick is very valuable. I use it all the time with my Brothers Scan and Cut, and it will work with whatever model of Scan and Cut you have. The Scan and Cut recognizes objects as one when they are connected with a line. Okay, so I already have done some, and this is going to be our final result, is we're going to have full dinosaurs. Even though these are many different separate shapes, they're going to cut out as full. Well, this one already would have cut out, but these two would not have cut out without our trick. All right, so let's get started. The Dinoroar Suite is new in our Stampin' Up! Annual catalog, and I'm just going to show you that real quick. This is a follow-up to my last video where I went over the products in this suite, but I'll just show you again how cute this suite is, and it has many coordinating products. I'll be getting more into the coordinating products in another video. All right, so this is all about the Scan and Cut. So we're going to bring the machine over, and I'm just going to show you on the mat what we have to do first to make this happen. And also, I think I need to plug in my Scan and Cut over here. So we'll do that as well. Now, you have these little dinosaurs. You have this cute dinosaur it's in one piece, two piece, three pieces. Okay, I've already connected it with, let me just take this out. I've already connected it with a pencil line to make this as one, to make it into one piece. And then I stopped, and before I did the whole sheet, I said, let me show my crafty friends this trick. And this will work on the volcanoes on the other page as well. You just need to make everything one full image. So I'm going to take this dinosaur and I'm going to connect it. Okay, you just take a pencil, doesn't even have to be that sharp. And I'm connecting it and I'm making it one piece. We'll leave a couple unconnected as well so you can really understand what's happening there. So whenever you have, the Scan and Cut needs everything to be one piece so that it cuts out correctly. Okay, here's another dinosaur in three pieces. So we're going to take it and we're going to connect it there, there, and there. The reason I didn't connect it outside of those little spines was because I want it to cut around the hand like so. So because I want it to cut around the little dinosaur or claw or hand, that's why I connected it right in that spot. Okay, and we're going to connect it up here as well. Okay, we don't need to connect this one. It's already solid in one piece. This one is only a partial dinosaur, and unless you want to do something cute with just a dinosaur tail, we don't need to connect that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll leave this one unconnected as a teaching tool, and this is a full dinosaur, and we'll connect him. Okay, so I want to erase the pencil mark up here just because I did get it a little bit into his head. All right, so there we go. I'm just going to double check. I think this should all work. I'm connected here, here, here. All right, now we've done our trick. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn on our machine, and we're going to go to, you're going to see when you first turn on your machine. Let me move this closer. You're going to see pattern and scan. Okay, and so you want to select scan because we're going to be scanning out the stamped images. Let me get my stylus. Now we're going to select direct cut because we're directly cutting out these dinosaur images. This is asking where it wants to store it. We're going to store it on the machine for now. So just on your machine. And we're going to use black and white recognition mode because I've already tried it and it works. Even though these images are in color, you can use black and white recognition mode when there's good contrast between the foreground and the background, which there is in this case because the background is white. Okay, we're going to go ahead and load this using this button. We're going to load the mat, and I always like to keep one hand on the mat, a little bit when I load it. And then let's hit start. Okay, so what it's doing, it's recognizing, see? It's just pulling in. Whenever if you're gonna ever tape your mat, never tape along those registration marks, because always keep those free. Even if your mat's not very sticky, and even if you're tempted to use tape to tape this onto the mat, don't ever cover these registration marks. All right, so it's recognizing. I'm gonna bring my camera in a little bit closer. I keep moving it so it's not being consistent as to where it's staying. All right, so now we're gonna say, so this is what it did. It recognized the images, and we're gonna go ahead and say okay. Now this is great. It did a great job, except with this one. Now this is why, before we get into all the editing part, I need to zoom in and show you why it didn't recognize this one here. Okay. Now what I like to do is when I'm cutting these, I like to just put an outline distance around them. And it also serves a couple purposes. It gives me a nice outline distance. And it also, if there were any little pieces almost connected, it'll kind of make them as one. So let's go ahead and add that outline distance of 0.04, which is the first outline distance that you can select. That's the smallest outline distance. Now, I want to zoom in and show you what happens when, see, the ScanNCut took these dinosaurs and they took all the spines along the back, and because I didn't use a pencil mark on this one, okay, it took them and it selected all of these as separate objects. So when you get frustrated with your ScanNCut, it's really our fault, it's not the ScanNCut's fault. It means that we didn't give it one object to select like we did here. See, by using the pencil trick, we were able to give it a command, which was select this line, because really ScanNCut's all about selecting lines. When we connected the lines, we gave it something to select. Here it had nothing to select, so it's just messed up there. And it's not messed up, I mean, it's doing what it's trained to do. The machine is going to scan all of the lines, all of these as separate lines, which is great. It means that if you did have projects where you have lots of little objects you want selected, then the ScanNCut will do that for you. But in this case, we want this to come out as one image. So, okay, so let's now go back. Okay, we've zoomed in and you got to see what I was talking about. I've already added my outline distance of 0.04. The next thing we need to do is ignore small object sizes, because look how dirty my mat is. You know, all these little objects are getting selected. So let's just go ahead in here and we're gonna ignore object size. Now we can safely say that all of these, you know, are over an inch, all of my dinosaurs. So we can say, let's ignore anything up to an inch. What that's gonna do is, watch as I increase what size to ignore, watch how these little bits disappear. Because the bigger you go, the more it'll ignore those objects. The problem is if you go too big, it'll start ignoring the things that you actually want to cut. So, you know, don't ignore really large objects, or you'll start getting into ignoring the things that you actually are trying to cut out. All right, that's good enough. We're going to say ignore anything here, about an inch. And it got rid of most of the unwanted bits. Now we're going to say okay, and if it didn't get rid of all of the unwanted bits, we say okay again. We can also get rid of them in editing mode, which is right here, so that you can go into here and you can get rid of them that way. I've shown that in many of my tutorials. All right, next is blade depth. Because I'm not using the ScanNCut DX yet, which I'm using soon, I'm going to go ahead and set my blade depth to 4. But normally with designer series paper, you can set a blade depth of 3. Boy, I have a new light and it's really dark. I mean, really light. Okay, there you go. So I'm setting the blade depth to 4, so use whatever works for you, but it's good to do a test cut. Normally, I'm going to say in the notes that if you're using designer series paper by Stampin Up, I'm going to recommend a blade depth of 3 with the ScanNCut 2 or the CM350. But after a while, when your blade starts to go dull or your springs start to wear out, my machine's getting very old, after a while you do need to change your blade depth to like a higher blade depth to make it work. We're going to say cut. And we're going to say start. Okay, it's going to take 3 minutes, so I'm going to just stop the video and start it again in a couple minutes. Okay, it's almost done cutting. So I've started my video again. Then we're going to continue with getting these off the mat now. So it's done cutting. it took 3 minutes, and that was for most of, 2/3 of a sheet. We're going to say, okay, now we're going to unload the mat. And now we're done with this part of our project. And I'm going to show you some projects I created. So let's get these off of the mat. Let's do our other things we need to do to them. Okay, so I'm going to tilt this down, tilt the camera down, and you're going to see that when you get your cut objects off the mat, first peel the designer series paper off the mat. I restuck my mat. I have lots of tips and tricks on how to do that. And I'm going to be trying out something else soon to yet another trick. Okay, this little guy's getting stubborn. There we go. So we have all the ones that cut out, and it did a great success rate. But sometimes during this one didn't cut out because we didn't tell it to cut out. We didn't even connect this with the lines. All the ones that we connected with the lines did cut out, except for this one. But that's sometimes just because it's close to the edge. They don't always cut out. But I think it did a great job. So now what you do is you take your spatula, okay, your little spatula that comes with your machine, and you can lift these up with your spatula. Okay? And what I tend to do, since these are such big objects, is I just tend to bend the mat a little bit and watch these pop off, because the mats are not very sticky, so it just pops off. Even when I restick my mats, they're still not very sticky. Okay, so you use your spatula, the combination of tilting your mat to pop them off, or some combination of thereof. So we're just using the spatula and the tilting, and we're going to get these all off. Then I'm going to show you that you need to erase the marks and what kind of eraser is good to use, because that's always important. You don't want to use the eraser at the end of your pencil. It'll stain your paper, and then the trick doesn't work, right? The trick, and don't erase them while they're on the mat, because you're going to get eraser marks all over bits of eraser all over your mat. So here we go, zooming in. Now he's already good. He doesn't need to be erased. So let's put all the ones that are already good over here up to the side, and we have to do some erasing on. Okay, they're already ready to go. So now here are the ones that we did our pencil trick on. I have to tilt this down again. You cannot see what I can see. Here we go. So now we're gonna erase them like so. We're gonna get our trusty eraser. So use this kind of eraser, or this is a Pentel eraser. I'll have a link to it. Very cheap. Or don't use the eraser at the end of your pencil, okay? Because there's no eraser at the end of that pencil because I used it all. But you can get these on Amazon, or in my case, I just needed like one eraser, and I went into like Office Max, and they were on sale for like a giant box of these for like, I think $4.99. So now I'm going to do some other things with those, give them as gifts. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. I'm just erasing the marks. Look at that. You can't even tell that they've been, that we've had marks on those. So yay! I'm going to move this light back because it's like a little bit too bright, my light. That's what happens when I try to get light. It ends up being too bright. Now we're going to go erase this one. Okay. All right, so you get the idea. So you're pretty much vanishing these pencil marks, so your trick really works. And then we'll do this one too as well, just so you can see. And then I'm going to show you my projects I created using this method. Okay, so you can never tell. We even used the pencil trick, and it's pretty darn awesome. And I'm even going to bring it closer so you can see that I'm not playing any tricks on you except showing you the trick, the pencil trick. Now, show you my projects. Now, in this series, or in this Dinoroar, it's called Dinoroar Suite, we have the Dino Days photopolymer stamp set. And I'll have a link to the supplies I use for my projects in the description of the video, so check out the description. So these are the sentiments I'm using. You're awesome, you're roarsome, thank you for being a friend to Cyrus, and I love you this much. Those are the sentiments I used for the cards I made using this technique. And then you have your designer series paper. There's double-sided designer series paper. I'm working on cards with this one right now. This is pretty cool. I like this background pattern. when I work with a suite, I kind of go all in and I make lots of projects with it. So I'm kind of working on lots of things to do with the Dinoroar suite right now. And then here's this sheet. I think I'll be cutting out this side again. Well, I do like the hands too, so maybe I won't cut this all out next time. I might use the hands for something. Then there was a piece that I showed you in the last video that had cute little tiny dinosaurs on them. And we cut these out with the ScanNCut directly. We didn't even need to, I didn't even need to do any tricks. These just came out directly, and I used an outline distance of 0.04. And on the other side of that, I used both my sheets up right now, but on the other side of that was this cute pattern. But I cut out all the dinosaurs. Okay, so now with that said, I'll show you the cards I made today using this technique. Okay, so I like to use some doilies that I had, and you just use whatever materials you have, folks. So basically, I was trying to layer up my cards and make them cute, and I was trying to use coordinating colors. So there's a doily back there that's in old olive, because old olive is one of the coordinating colors with the suite. And then this is one of the little guys I just cut out. See, just like I showed you. This one still has pencil marks on it. Okay, but I erased the pencil marks and used it, and that's the Flirty Flamingo color, which is one of the coordinating colors. This one came out, this little guy came out of one of the other sheets. And then one of the things we have coordinating with the suite is called enamel shapes. Okay, Dinoroar enamel shapes. And I like just adding those little embellishments. It adds a little bit of sparkle to my cards. And on the inside of the cards, I like to decorate as well and embellish. Okay, so I used the Whisper White cardstock inside, and I did Thank You for Being a Friend to Cyrus, and then I just added some more elements. Okay, and then I left room for a note over here. Okay, so that's Crumb Cake, Flirty Flamingo, Lovely Lipstick, that paper. This is Pretty Peacock color. This is Pool Party and some Mango Melody. Again, Flirty Flamingo, all coordinating colors. Some more of these little embellishments, some more doilies. And then on the inside, so this is the one I just cut out with the ScanNCut. On the inside, it's I love you this much, and it's more than it looks, because look at his tiny little claws. So it's more than it looks. I love that one. So thank you for being a friend to Cyrus. So those are the projects I created, and I'm just getting started with the suite. So I can't wait to show you many things you can do, many more things you can do with the Dinoroar suite, my new favorite suite in the annual catalog. Well, thank you for watching. This is the Papered Chef.